You can also download the latest episode of my podcast. The latest episode 10 of Just Getting Started. I've done 10 of these. Again, it's just a podcast based on the origin stories of my guests. It's a little bit different than what we do here, but sometimes we do talk a little sports after we get the origin stories from my guests to try and inspire those who may need to just get started on what's going on in their lives. So this week, my guest is a kid from Parma, Ohio, who wanted to be a WWE superstar and is now one. The Miz. We recorded it Monday when he was in Tampa before he did Monday Night Raw. Mm-hmm. And also figured, let's get him on, talk about his origin story. And we just came back from Cleveland, and his town and his Browns were on full display for the draft. And this is what he had to say on this subject. Let's talk about your Browns. I mean,
let's talk about it. We're going to the Super Bowl. Rich. We're going to the Super Bowl. We were going to the Super Bowl before the draft. And now we've picked up everything that we slightly needed. Like, we needed a cornerback because sometimes our cornerbacks get injured. So we got ourselves a cornerback. We got ourselves a safety. Linebackers, check. Like, you know what? We have 2 A+ running backs. And we were like, you know what? Let's add another. And let's add the fastest guy at the combine at wide receiver. Let's add him too. Let's just throw them in the mix. And then, by the way, I saw like a tweet out from Des Bryant yesterday going ACL, like what happened to Odell's ACL, because Odell Beckham was literally training and he is fast, like real fast. I don't know if you saw that video.
Oh, yeah.
But he looks fast. And I'm like, wait a second. So Odell's still fast. We got Jarvis. We got Hooper. We got Hunt, we got Chubb, Baker's an all-star. I mean, what else do you want? And then we have all these draft picks. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, the defense. And you got the right coach. And here's the thing, too. The crazy thing is 11 wins last year. First playoff win since Belichick's the coach. That game against the Steelers, you must have lost your mind when they were up like 28, like the first quarter.
I thought we were going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I honestly did. I was like, we're going to beat them. We're going to beat them. But now... So we went to the playoffs, and that's one thing, right? To go to the playoffs is one thing. To win in the playoffs. Yeah. Now, not only do you know how to get to the playoffs, you know how to win in the playoffs. Now it's figuring out how to get to the Super Bowl. That's the next step. And I think this year is that next step.
I got to tell you this. We've heard from The Miz many times because we do the Alice in Chains Fantasy Football League with him and other celebrities, and we've had him on as well. And here's his problem with saying this now. He says that all the time. So, however, I will say this. This is the first time where I think he may not be too damn far off. I'm serious. Browns were one of the final 8. They did give the Chiefs all they could handle. First half, ball gets knocked through the end zone, fumble. I understand. I hate the rule. I understand what the rule is. I understand what happened is still within the rules of play, and you got to play better than the ref or the rules come into play and what have you. But he's not wrong. Name me another team with a running core like that. Name me another team with a receiving core with Landry and Odell coming back. Name me another team with bookend defensive ends like Myles Garrett popping out of his velvet suit.
Have you seen pictures? Can we talk about that?
I haven't seen pictures. He was at the draft announcing a pick. It was like he was bulging out of the thing. It was like a medium, or he's just ripped.
He's a real life superhero.
Dude, you had Clowney. So that's 2 first overall drafted pass rushers.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And then what he just said about the draft, this kid Greg Newsome, the second from Northwestern's a really good corner. And the kid Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, the linebacker from Notre Dame, had a health red flag that came up that popped him all the way down to the second round. And Anthony Schwartz is the Auburn receiver. He's talking about being the fastest. He mentioned the combine, but the pro day season. And this is the first time the Browns drafted where they were, and they didn't have a lot of holes to fill. They're just adding depth now. And a coach who clearly has had the team at hello. And if Baker takes that big step forward, you cannot discount the fact they also have a third place schedule. They're going to be beaten up on a lot of teams that are lesser than.
Rich, you know what you do now? You swap out Baker for Aaron Rodgers.
I know you keep saying that. I don't
now
see
we're
that
talking
happening.
Super Bowl.
Well,
favorite.
I mean, then we're all on the train. But even with Baker, he took such a huge step forward. What if there's another one coming? And he doesn't make all those mistakes that he did in his first few years again. And they do have the running back core that's going the way that they do. And they do have Odell coming back with a chip on his shoulder. And they do have, Austin Hooper. Don't forget that. The line protects and they're healthy. They go hunt. Their front seven's fast.
That kid from Notre Dame's a thumper, man.
I'm just throwing it all out there. The Miz may not be too far off, finally. Oh, and by the way, just getting started where all podcasts are required. Mike Florio coming up. Tell me I'm wrong.
On paper, yeah, it sounds.
Well, on the
for
field
real.
last year.
Yeah, I mean,
an 11-win team. He's also not wrong that they've been to the playoffs.
Yeah.
They got that out of the way. They finally got it out of the way. They won a game. They spanked the team they beat, and it's not just any team. It's the team they hate the most.
Yeah. Your biggest
rival.
rival.
I mean, I don't know. The Ravens, kind of took their franchise. But the Steelers are still the Steelers in Cleveland. That got the lustiest boos in the draft hall.
They sure did. They booed DMC, Rich.
They did.
Browns
booed DMC.
Browns win total from Vegas for next year, 10. Over under 10.
When was the last time the Browns were installed as such? I wouldn't know. I'm just saying I don't know.
There's an extra game this year.
10. Oh, it's an extra game. That's right. Dude, I don't partake in such games of chance.
Maybe we should,
I don't
Rich.
understand what you mean by win total.
By the way, Browns to make the playoffs, minus 210. Big favorite to make the playoffs.
Why wouldn't they be?
Win total means the amount of games they think they're going to win. I think that's
what that means. Good job,
obvious.
TJ.
I don't know what you're saying.
Come on, baby.
I really don't know.
Browns 16-1 to win the Super Bowl.
And like you said, they can run the football, which
Where does
means they
that
can
rank?
control the clock.
Where does that
They
rank?
are 7th. Oof. Actually, they're
Top
6th.
quarter of the league.
They're tied with the Ravens. Ravens and Browns 16-1.
That's not a bad bet.
Where are the Cowboys at? Like 2-1?
Uh-oh.
3-1? I don't know how these work either.
33-1.
Is that good? Or
By the way, the Browns have half the odds of the Cowboys.
I mean,
Why wouldn't you? Honestly. This is the first time I'm watching a Browns draft, and I'm not sitting there thinking, why are they not going with need? Because they really didn't have much. It was just like, let's get depth. The need was corner. Because,
well, they got Ward.
Well, but Ward doesn't stay healthy enough.
But when he's out there,
when he's out there, he's out there. But if he's out, he's just got to get out there.
Yeah.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.